After 9 months of him and I dating, I get a DM from this girl on my Facebook, and she was like, hey, my name's this and this. I just want to let you know that by your profile picture, you're making yourself look bad because you're dating the guy that's about to be the father to my child.
I'm a lucky girl. I do lucky things. Getting all my dreams. But what is worth the seems like I'm a lucky girl. No good things come to me, flow to me, move through me. Everything.
Good afternoon, guys. Welcome back to another one of my videos. As you can see, today I don't have anything fun or anything that has to do with vlogging. I pretty much just really wanted to talk to you guys about a little bit more about myself and what has led me to the person that I am now. And so we are going to be talking about karma and how it has shown up in my life at least once in a bad way. I hope that you guys can learn from my mistakes, especially if you are seriously dating in your early 20s, and it could potentially save your future life. Because as much as I don't regret where I am in life now, there are some things that I wish I could have changed and made things different and not have done things like that. Because let me just say, karma is a bitch. And it's real, and you never know when it's gonna come back to you, whether it's like in a month, years. I just really wanted to share this with you guys so that maybe you guys can learn something from me and a little bit of my background dating history. Go grab your tea, grab you a glass of wine, and if you resonate with this video, if something similar has happened to you, make sure you comment below so that I don't feel alone in this. For those of you who are new to my channel, hi, welcome. My name is Pam. I am 100% Mexicana. I am a licensed esthetician and I have 2 kids. I don't consider myself a single mom. I am a single individual because I do co-parent gracefully with both of my kids' fathers. I know that's very rare nowadays, but there are like no feelings involved or anything. We literally just co-parent so gracefully for the sake of both of my kids. One day I will tell you guys my side of the story about how I grew up with my parents being separated and how that kind of affected but not affected my life. That's why I wanted to make a change with my kids, and I get along with both of their dads. We co-parent, and I am just a single individual. My kids and I, we absolutely love to go and visit new theme parks. So that's pretty much what you're going to be seeing in my channel, is a lot about mom life, traveling, skincare, and literally just my life in general. So don't forget to subscribe to my channel, give this video a thumbs up, and let's go ahead and get started. So before I go ahead and start, I just want to say that today was a little bit hectic. I went and did a facial, and lately Lorenzo has just been very uncomfortable with lap seat belt and a car seat in general, at least with me, because for some reason at his dad's house he does super well in his car seat, but with me he just throws the biggest temper tantrums ever, saying his belly hurts, or I don't know, just making any type of excuse. And it's just like I cannot figure out what is wrong with him. Like, I'm to a point where I'm so overwhelmed that I am this close to taking him get tested for, I think it's called sensory process disorder or something like that, because he is having signs of sensory issue. If you guys have any suggestions for me for kids who are having a hard time sitting still in their car seat, please DM me some recommendations, because I'm at a point where I don't know what to do, and I'm even having tantrums along with him because I just don't know how to help my poor child. I'm gonna try to hurry up and make this video because I've been wanting to make this video for the longest time. I just feel like it's just a beautiful and life learning story that I had to go through in my early 20s, and this has to do with dating and karma, and maybe not necessarily just dating, but maybe karma in general in life. Whether you do good or bad to people, there is always going to be karma involved. Let me tell you guys a little bit about my life in the past 4 years. I separated from my son's dad in 2020. It's when the whole coronavirus thing started. I chose to separate, that way we can become better individuals. In my mind, I was like, if life wants us to be together, it will have us be together. But honestly, we get along so much better as co-parents, and I would like to keep it that way because I just feel like we were just not really compatible with one another, but we were meant to be really great friends. So I have been single for almost 4 years now. Honestly, this has been like the longest time that I have been single. I've done a lot of character development. I've done a lot of self-healing. And it's just like I've spent so much time with myself in the past almost 4 years that I've gotten to know myself in like a much deeper level. When I looked back at my life in my early 20s, when I started dating seriously, I realized that karma came around pretty bad on me. And when I was, I want to say 17 years old, I was still in high school. During that time, I was dating somebody, but it was just not very serious. We were super young. I remember we had a field trip coming up at school for the Renaissance Festival. And so at that time, my grades weren't that great in one of my classes. And I was this close to not going because I had to prove my teacher that I was going to bring my grade up. And so I had to take a test. And to my surprise, I passed the test, so I was able to attend this field trip. And when then that day came to go to this field trip, I was so excited, but at the same time, I was just like, I really just wanted to get out of class and wanted to do something fun. And so going to this field trip, there was a bunch of schools from every other county. I remember walking around and then seeing this like super, super handsome guy. He was with a friend as well. I was with one of my good friends back in high school. And we're just walking around the Renaissance Festival. As soon as we were about to load our bus, we had to all get in line. I see this guy and his friend come up. In my head, I'm like, he's probably gonna come up and ask for my friend's number. But he started talking to me and then asking for my number, and he was just so nervous. Honestly, like, he looked like he was American, but he was actually born in Mexico, Guadalajara to be exact. I had just never seen a Latino man like that around my area ever. And I was just so mesmerized by his beauty. He then texted me like 2 weeks later, and then he would tell me, oh, you and that guy are not gonna last. Like, one day you're gonna be mine. In my head, I thought that was a little bit annoying because I was like, I have a boyfriend. Like, why would you even say that? But then after, I want to say 6 months, that guy broke up with me and I was heartbroken. I was like, why? Like, why am I not good enough? Like, are we going to get back together? And accepted the fact that him and I are just never going to be a thing. So then I started talking to the man that I met at the Renaissance Festival. And I don't want to say any names, so let's just call him Alejandro.
Alejandro. I can't live without you. I can't breathe without you. Without you, I have nothing.
Let's call him Alejandro. So Alejandro and I, we started talking more and more every single day. And at that time, he had also broken up with his girlfriend, or his girlfriend broke up with him. I don't know. The thing is that we were both single. We just started talking to each other. He lived an hour away from where I live. At that time, I did not know how to drive. I didn't have a driver's license. And so he would come from Douglasville every single weekend to visit me, for us to go to the movies, for us to go have dinner or lunch. Like, he would come over every Saturday. I think it was like from noon, and he would end up leaving at night. My mom really loved him. My mom is very hard to impress. But this guy, he was different, and my mom absolutely adored him. We ended up dating for about 3 years. We had a lot of plans together. He had actually planned to go to the Air Force. We had already like planned all of our kids' name. We were gonna have 3 kids, and we were hoping to have twins. It was just crazy that we had all this planned. And also crazy that a guy like him, you know, fresh out of high school, would drive all the way from his house to come see me, or sometimes he would come all the way from Douglasville. He would come and pick me up, then we would hang out in his side of the town. We just did a lot of things together. We would go to the mall. Let me just say that this was my high school sweetheart. So then when I started my senior year, there was this guy in my high school that was very, very popular when I was a freshman. He was a senior. Every single girl like loved him. Him and his brother were super popular. They were football players. I think either him and his brother were a quarterback. I cannot remember. But he slid into my DMs and he asked me for my number. At first I was just like in shock because I was like, who would have thought this man that everybody loved is asking me for my number? And we started going out to lunch and talking more. And since my current boyfriend lived all the way in Douglasville, the only times he would see me were on Saturdays and sometimes Sundays. Well, then little by little, since this other guy, he lived in my area, like maybe 10 minutes away from me, he would come see me literally almost every day. Little by little, like I just started pushing Alejandro away because I was just still in shock that this guy from my high school was even paying any attention to me and wanted a relationship with me. Mind you, I was 18. I was in senior year in high school. So I was very, very, very naive. And so then Alejandro one time, I remember I was working and he was like, hey, you know, my birthday's coming up and I'm planning to throw my birthday at this club and I want to come pick you up because I really want you to be there. Since, you know, I was his girlfriend, I was like, I really want you to be there. I'm just letting you know ahead of time. And I told him, I was like, I'm probably not going to be able to make it. Like me being a bitch, I was like, I'm probably not going to be able to make it. I'm like, I have a bunch of things to do for my senior project. I have to work. I have to do this. Like I was just trying to give him every excuse in the book. And then he was like, well, I wish that you would come. Like, I really want you there. And I'm like, I'm sorry, but I'm not going to be able to make it. And he's like, wait, why aren't you calling me baby? Like, I've been texting you saying baby this, baby that. And like, why are you not matching the same energy? And so I was just annoyed and I was like, whatever, like I didn't reply. We just slowly drifted apart. There was like zero breakups. Like there was nothing. I don't even think he suspected that I was already talking to someone else, but we just drifted apart. We didn't have a closure. We didn't have nothing. We just drifted apart. He stopped coming over. Then I continue my relationship with this. After 9 months of him and I dating, I get a DM from this girl on my Facebook and she was like, hey, my name's this and this. I just want to let you know that by your profile picture, you're making yourself look bad because you're dating the guy that's about to be the father to my child. I was like, wait a minute, what? Like, are we talking about the same guy? And he was like, yes, I am pregnant with his child. We've been dating for 3 months. And I just wanted to let you know that you having that profile picture up makes you look bad. And at that time, he was going through some stuff. I didn't even know what he was going through, but he was in the military and he had left for like a week for training. Then I get that message from this girl and I texted him. I was so pissed off because I was actually getting ready to go to work. So I texted him, I'm like, listen, look at what she sent me. Like what is going on? Like, are you really having a child by her? Like, we've been dating 9 months and she's pregnant by your child. Like, what is going on? Well, I went to work and I was bawling my eyes out and I still worked through that. I don't know how I did it, but I still worked through that. He then calls me at night and was like, I'm so sorry. Like, I meant to tell you like this and this was going on and has been going on. I did not know how to tell you, but I want you to know that I want you. I don't want her. He swore up and down. He swore on his nieces and nephews. On his nieces and nephews that he wanted to be with me and not her. But is about to have a whole child with this woman he's been dating for 3 whole months. I was like, listen, you're about to have a kid. And mind you, I was only 18 years old. At 18 years old, I was not about to put myself in a situation where I was going to be the side chick. Well, actually, she was the side chick because him and I had been dating for 9 months. But I was not going to put myself in that situation to continue to be with someone who was cheating on me and about to have a child with someone else. I was like, listen, this is over. I'm sorry that you made that choice for yourself, but I cannot continue to be with you. So then this girl and I, we went at it. Like, this girl, a lot of people from another school knew her, and she was bad news. They told me that she was a liar and not to believe her, that she had done that to multiple men to try to get them to stay with her. Like, how sorry do you have to be to lie about you're about to have a child with someone just so they can stay with you? That's some psycho shit. You like, I could never be a side chick and then lie about a pregnancy to keep a man. Like, what? But this girl was bad news from what everybody would tell me. You know, she had done that to other guys, and she was just very manipulated. She was also very narcissistic. But either way, I still broke things off. I was like, look, this is done. I don't want to talk to you ever in my life. I'm gonna go on with my life, and you deal with what you put yourself in. So then I completely stopped talking to him. He was still trying to text me and apologize on how sorry he was, but I was like, there's nothing I can do. Like, I don't feel sorry for you. I am not gonna have you put me in that position again. So then I stopped talking to him. And then a couple months later, I started dating someone new. Then that guy and I like just broke things off. And then that's when I met Chloe's dad. Alejandro and I stayed really good friends, even though we didn't have very much communication. During my relationship with Chloe's dad, I had issues with him because of an ex-girlfriend that he had, which she's really cool now. Like, her and I get along. We're like Facebook buddies. But at that time, I guess there still was some jealousy towards her end because I was with Chloe's dad. I don't know what was going on. So then Alejandro and I stayed in contact. Then I would go out with my friends a lot to the hookah bars, and Alejandro and I met one day there, and he was actually dating a girl, and he was telling me how he didn't really want to be with her, that he wished that was me. And I was like, man, you know, like, I wish he didn't say that because he's with someone. And what I realized later on in life is that what to me was my karma for what I did to Alejandro. That was my karma. I couldn't even act like a victim or anything because I did wrong to someone else. When Alejandro told me that he really wanted to be with me, we tried to rekindle things after he broke things off with that girl. It wasn't clicking. Like, we just weren't there as a couple again. Even though there was no closure to our relationship, we just could not come back together like we once did. Continued my relationship with Chloe's dad, and he proposed and I got pregnant. And then after 4 years of marriage, you know, Alejandro and I still stayed really good friends. Again, I was having issues with Chloe's dad, and I got to a point where I was just so fed up. Alejandro and I would continue to have contact. I would tell him all my problems, everything that I was going through. And one time him and I just met up. We went out for tacos and we talked. I mean, we honestly just catched up. He was entering a relationship as well, so there wasn't really much that we could do to even rekindle things at that time. Like, I was getting out of a relationship, a separation with my ex-husband, and he was entering a new relationship. So we pretty much just met up again to just catch up on life and how everything had been and how I was gonna go through a separation. And after that, I met Lorenzo's dad, and him and I broke contact with one another. Like, we absolutely had no contact whatsoever. We still had each other's number, but we didn't really talk because he ended up getting married. So then we honestly just had absolutely no contact with one another. After I separated from Lorenzo's dad in 2020, Alejandro, a few months later, ended up getting a divorce. So then we stayed in contact again. He came to see me at my job because every time we would try to see each other and go out for lunch or dinner, like, just something would come up. Another funny thing is that Alejandro lived in Douglasville, but in 2015, he became a firefighter for my county. So he worked in my area. Like, who would have thought he would stay around this area? To this day, he still works as a firefighter in my area. After his divorce, like I said, we tried to rekindle things. I don't know, I guess it just was not there. Even though our relationship didn't have closure or anything like that, that relationship we had just never returned back to normal. And I would never understand why. I'm not sure if it's because I ended up having 2 kids by 2 different people. He to this date doesn't have any kids, but he did get married again. And I don't think I will ever have that closure of like what happened, or if he even knew what I did to him. Or him and I just had so many plans together. He had plans of us having kids. Obviously, he has done great in his career life, but I want to know like exactly like why hasn't he had kids, but he wanted kids with me. I just don't really understand like what is going on there. But it's just like one of those life lessons that I had to learn the hard way when I was younger up until now. Not to do bad. And to this day, as a 30-year-old single woman, like I still haven't found anything that even comes close to the relationship that I had with him. Like the way that we met was just so organically. I feel like dating nowadays, like you meet everybody through social media, through Facebook. I want to find someone organically and just click the way we did. Honestly, if you are dating seriously in your early 20s, don't do anything stupid. I know we're young, we want to explore, but if you find someone who is genuine and is just caring and is just a great man overall to you, don't do anything stupid like I did, because let me tell you guys, karma is real. Whether it's gonna come to you in a year and months and like a couple of years, it's gonna come to you and it's gonna hit you like a ton of bricks out of nowhere. You can't act surprised. You can't act like a victim in that situation, because like I said, always do good to people, and especially those who are good to you. You don't want to go through anything that I went through, because now, like, I'm not saying that I regret my life now, but it's not what I imagined my life out to be. Like, I did not wish to have separate dads for my kids. I didn't wish to be a single woman and not have that family. Like, just not the life that I envisioned myself being at 30 years old. My life is not horrible. I'm not saying that by all means. I absolutely love how my life has turned out in the past couple of years. It's a work in progress, but I do wish that I had continued with those plans that I had with that person back in my teen years, and just to tell my kids that dad and I were high school sweethearts, and just have that example for them there. You know, I wish my life would have been that way, but I know God has plans for all of us. I know he has greater things in store for all of us, and he does these things for us to learn our lessons the hard way and for us to not make the same mistakes again. I think that was pretty much it with a little background of what I've been through and what has made me into the person that I am now. And I hope you guys learned a little bit from me today. And if you're young and you're watching this video, ladies, let me just say, just have some self-respect and don't let no guy do you wrong, especially if he's cheating. There are a couple things that I do not tolerate, and that is going back to someone who cheats, someone who abuses me verbally and physically, and or someone who is just so stuck on their ways with any type of bad things in life, like drugs or alcohol. Like, it's just like one of those things where if you can't help yourself, I can't help you. Yeah, I think that's pretty much what my video is about today, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. I know I didn't have very much interesting things to talk about or a fun vlog like my other vlogs have been. Like I said, don't forget to subscribe, to like this video, give it a thumbs up. I hope you guys have a great rest of your Tuesday. See you guys in my next video.
I'm a lucky girl.